Now, in William Wells Brown book, My Southern Home, Wells talks about his time as being enslaved and afterwards. Now, I told you once before that he mentioned Uncle Dinky, the Goofer King, but he also gives a small blurb about another fortune teller named Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank was owned by Mr. Sarpy of St. Louis, Missouri, and his plantation was near Poplar Farm, where Uncle Dinky and Wells Brown both were held. He says that Uncle Frank was a highly revered fortune teller who was sought after by both whites and blacks. Now, when he visited Uncle Frank was about 70 years old, and he describes him as being over 6 feet tall with a small body that looked like it wasn't even strong enough to hold his head up, which is a very realistic description of what we would think a lot of enslaved people would look like. And this is solely due to a lot of the mistreatment that they endured while being enslaved. Despite all of that, Uncle Frank's fortunes did always came to pass. So Brown came to visit Uncle Frank shortly before he attempted to escape slavery, just to kind of see how things would go and if he would be successful. Naturally, he was told he would encounter a lot of trials and tribulations, which Brown does say that was kind of like go figure, but he does say in the end that he doesn't know if Frank was a prophet himself or a son of a prophet, but a lot of what he said came to pass. And as someone who did not believe in soothsaying, he was quite amazed at a lot of what did happen after visiting Uncle Frank. Now, the process for visiting a fortune teller on the plantation was not simple, because first you had to be able to seek one out. And he does not give details on how he found Uncle Frank, but it's not like you can just walk from your plantation to another. You do have to be able to sneak away to do this. So he does say that he was able to eventually get over to the other plantation to find Uncle Frank. And then it cost him 25 cents in order to have his fortune told. When he paid the 25 cents, that is when Uncle Frank used a method that we would now call scrying, by looking into a gourd filled with water. And what made Brown believe in the entire endeavor was the fact that not one time did he mention to Uncle Frank that he wanted to escape or had any notions of freedom. But when Uncle Frank told him that he will indeed be free, Brown got very excited. And it was shortly after that visit on New Year's Day that Brown finally decided that he would indeed escape slavery and head north, and that's exactly what he did.